Welcome to Notebook, a program of interest to the St. Lucie County community that features information about St. Lucie County schools. Guests include school district and community leaders with focus on children in our community.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Notebook. This is a show where we connect you with community officials, school district personnel, and other organizations from around the Treasure Coast. And today we have a really exciting day planned for you. Some very favorite people of mine that are here to share with you about some upcoming dates and events that if you happen to be a parent or a guardian of a pre-K student, we're going to share some really pertinent information about looking into registering for the Voluntary Pre-Kindergarten program. And I just think this is so important because a lot of times our people in the community may not be aware of all the different things that are available to them, and especially also providing a chance for them to find out all the great events that our teachers are really a part of, and really learning those up-to-date and innovative things that they're bringing to teach our kids. And you guys do such a phenomenal job. So I'm anxious to get our time started here, so I'm going to move forward and let's introduce you all. So let's start with Cassie. This is Cassie Dillard, who is a Vpk program specialist. She's going to be with us today and sharing about the registration. Dr. Mary Huffstetter, who is our Vpk coordinator, and along with kindergarten through kindergarten through second grade, she oversees that as well. We're going to hear some great things from her. And then finally we have Ms. Crosby, who is also a Vpk program specialist, and these are the triple threat, the Three Musketeers. Oh, cool. And do such a wonderful job of really providing great support for our teachers, starting at that foundational step, and we know how valuable that is. But before we go on with finding out about all the events that are coming up, let's find out a little bit about each of you. So Cassie, share with us just a little bit about your position and maybe even how you came to this position. So.
Okay. Well, prior to coming to this position, I taught VPK in the public school classroom, but currently I'm the program specialist for VPK, so I get to do lots of things, anywhere from registration to attendance to all the different compliance things that are part of having a VPK program, as well as going to classrooms and supporting teachers.
Which is the fun part of the job.
That is the fun part.
Just a great group of people. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. Mary, tell us a little bit about your history in St. Lucie County and how you came to this position as well.
Okay, I think I've finally landed in my dream position. I was an ESC teacher at Savannah Ridge and at Parkway Elementary, and then became a department chair. And I've kind of moved around a little bit. I went over and I got my doctorate over at University of South Florida in Tampa, and then taught there for 2 years. Came back to the district, I just missed it, and I came back with the MTSS RTI process, and then morphed into early childhood, and it's just been a wonderful, you're number 5 now.
Wow.
Loving every minute, so hope it continues. And but with my early childhood coordinating position right now, I get to work really closely with all our Head Start programs, in addition to our St. Lucie public schools, and then we have a lot of private partners that have VPK kids, and actually birth through 5 kids in the community, and so we get to work really closely with them, and we have some coaches that help support those schools as well. So we really do work with the whole community in early childhood.
That's great. Karen, how about you? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
This is my 10th year in St. Lucie County. I taught for 19 years before I moved to St. Lucie County, but I've always been in early childhood education. This is only my first year in this current position when I work with Cassie and Mary, and I'm still getting my feet wet, and there's a lot to learn. I had no idea what this position involves, so we spent a lot of learning. Cassie's been very patient, teaching me everything, and I'm enjoying every minute, and I love working with all the teachers. That's the best part of this position, is being able to go into the classroom and help support the teachers, but also get to know them in a different way.
And what's really cool in having, because I get a chance to work with you guys on the other side of the wall, and get to be a part of all the exciting conversations that you have, and just the interaction with your teachers are just amazing. And really that comes from the 3 of you, because we know the leadership sets the tone for everything and setting the culture, and you guys have certainly done an amazing job with that. So,
thanks, Jen.
and one of the events that's coming up that I really wanted to kind of center on, we have two things that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the PreK registration, but the first thing, Mary, I know this is kind of your baby, is the Vpk conference that is coming up here, and gosh, it's next week. That's hard to believe. Tell us a little bit about that, because tell us maybe a little bit of the background, how many years this has been going on, and really what is maybe even some of the sessions that the teachers are going to have to look forward to.
Okay. This is one of my favorite days of the year. It is next Saturday at Fort Pierce Central, and this is our 4th annual conference. It started, really the partnership that we have with Houghton Mifflin Harcourt allowed us to do this, because in the early years they were our primary sponsor. Since then, we've tried to become more self-sufficient, so we get a nice grant from the Education Foundation, we get a nice grant from Walmart, we have other sponsors, the Early Learning Coalition, Head Start, Lakeshore, Kaplan, a lot of smaller community partners. So this really has become a community event, and it's a great day of learning. This year we have our theme this year is Kaleidoscope of Movement, and it's centered around the physical development standards for the early learning, for the Florida Early Learning Developmental Standards. And so it's going to be a lot of just, participants need to wear tennis shoes and come ready to move, because we have movement and dancing, and we have a couple of phys ed teachers that are going to be there doing some things, and it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful day. Lots of prizes, delicious lunch that's provided by the Cobra Cafe at Fort Pierce Central.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so we have a lot of support from the custodial staff at Fort Pierce Central. So thank you, Todd, for letting us use everybody over there. And the ROTC group helps us with parking, and they're going to be serving breakfast foods there. So it's going to be a fun-filled day.
And it's such an organized event. I mean, you guys have thought of every little detail that you could possibly think of. Everything just falls right into place, and it's such a great day. Who all would be in attendance for this particular conference?
This year we opened it up. I know it is just for St. Lucie County personnel. This year we discussed it. I was with Tony Loop of the Early Learning Coalition and Deb LaBella and Marna Rodriguez. We were wondering, should we open it up to other counties? And instead of doing that, because it is kind of a big event already, we decided that we really wanted to offer it to our kindergarten teachers as well, because we've been doing a lot of things for the pre-K teachers, and the kindergarten teachers have been left out a little bit. So it's going to be pre-K teachers, the paraprofessionals, and kindergarten teachers are invited. And we expect a full house.
And it's not just limited to St. Lucie Public School pre-K, and there's other organizations that you work with. Head Start, tell us about some of those.
Yes, our Head Start has just as many VPK kids as we do in the public school system, and they always come out to all of our professional development in mass. We have a wonderful representation from Head Start, their teachers, their paraprofessionals, and then we also have private partners who are going to be coming. So the paraprofessionals and the teachers, really anybody who works with early childhood. We have some speech pathologists who come. We have a couple occupational therapists who are signed up this year to come too. So it's everybody who works with pre-K is invited, and kindergarten this year.
Right. And then you have a morning and an afternoon session, and then each participant gets a chance to choose where they want to go. How does that work?
Yes. Samantha Davis, our webmaster, it was wonderful. She set up an online registration system where we have 7 sessions offered in the morning and 7 in the afternoon. And then the registration process has been open for about a month and a half. People were able to go on, choose which sessions they wanted. And then most often, now if they were just signing up last week, they didn't get their first choices, but all the sessions are fabulous. So we cap the sessions at 30 because we want to be really interactive.
Right.
And teachers are going to leave that day with things that they can immediately put into practice in their classrooms.
And you have a guest coming as well. Who is are we allowed to share that, or is that a surprise?
Sure we are. No, because we've already set it up.
Okay.
It's Dr. Jack Cartman, and he's internationally renowned, fabulous, just a lot of energy, and participants will be getting a prize. We won't tell them what that is. That goes along with Dr. Hartman and Jack, and he's also going to be doing a breakout session.
Wow.
And so he's given us most of the day.
Anybody who is a music teacher, and that's obviously what I did throughout my career here, and anybody that's a music teacher knows who Jack Hartman is. I mean, just his music is great, and the kids love it, and it's so interactive and very just fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he, in fact, I think I even saw him do something for the reading council a few years ago. It's been probably 10 years ago now, but he came and did a workshop for the teachers and incorporated it with reading and music, and just how perfectly that all meshes together. And yeah, so I'm anxious to see him. That'll be good. Good. Well, I know this is kind of your big event for the year in January, coming up here at the end of the month, but there are multiple events that you guys provide to your teachers. Karen, tell us a little bit about some of the other events that you provide to the teachers.
Well, we're really fortunate because we have a partnership with our private providers, and 4 times a year we get together with them, and the public school teachers are also invited, and we do make and takes. And we provide professional development to them in a very, very fun, interactive way. So we have them come in the afternoon after school, and God bless them because they've worked all day, and they still come out in full force, and they're so enthusiastic to learn. This year we've been basing it a lot around our new curriculum, which is the first year that they have it. So a lot of our make and takes are based on that and providing that extra support for the new curriculum for them.
And is that the Frog Street curriculum?
It's Splash into Pre-K.
Okay.
And
Splash.
the public school teachers used it last year, and this is the first year with the private providers. And so giving them all that extra support is really crucial to be successful.
Sure.
So we've been doing that. And we also have a lot of guests that come and help us at our make and takes. And Miss Jane has been one of the most popular guests that we've had.
We have a good time. That's always
Back
fun.
by popular
Oh my
demand.
I know, so they just
Yeah.
love when you come and
Yeah.
get them up and dancing and
Okay.
singing, so that's perfect, and we're looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And then we also have opportunities that we do collaborative planning with our teachers as well, so we meet with them and give them the opportunity to get together with each other, because a lot of times they don't see as much of each other because they're in separate schools. So a couple of our schools do have 2 classrooms, but we like to give them that opportunity so that they can get together and collaboratively plan.
And it's so crucial too, as you're sharing, all the background planning that you guys do and the collaborative lessons and things that you prepare. I think sometimes people, when you hear VPK or preschool, they just think it's just playing, kids just playing. But there are standards that you guys follow and and are structured that really scaffold into kindergarten, and just the instruction that you provide these kids is just amazing. In fact, if you don't mind, this actually wasn't a question that we were going to cover, but can you kind of just talk a little bit about how those standards have been set and how they kind of scaffold into the kindergarten programs as well, and how valuable that is?
Absolutely, because everything we do prioritize around the standards, and there are 5 domains very closely aligned with our Florida standards for kindergarten, and they really address the whole child. I mean, I know we always talk about literacy and how important that is, but the social emotional development, the physical development, which is what this year's conference is all centered around, the approaches to learning. Are kids creative? Are they persistent? Do they give up right away? Or those sorts of things. I think that group of standards is probably the most often swept aside because of the importance that's given to other standards. And then also their cognitive development, their science ideas, social studies, all those sorts of things. There's in pre-K, the teachers do have to become really, really well versed on all that in order to make sure that we're giving our kindergarten teachers the most well-rounded kids that we possibly can.
Right, and setting that foundation for kindergarten and all the way through. Not just, I think sometimes people, we're getting ready for kindergarten, and it kind of stops there, but that foundation, boy, if we miss those opportunities, what huge opportunities we've missed.
Yeah.
I
did want to mention, when you were talking about play, and we talked about this at length, when you do go to a classroom, you do hear people say, how tough could that be, because they just play all day. If you walk into a pre-K classroom and kids are all engaged and they're all playing,
right.
It looks like play, but it's materials preparation, it's being really prepared, it's being organized, and that just means that teacher has done a fabulous job of setting that,
right.
But that's so important, because the other thing we want to send our kids to kindergarten with is a love for learning and an excitement for learning. We don't want them to feel like, learning is hard or we're going to struggle. We want all kids to be really successful in pre-K so that it does set the stage for the rest of their career.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, just from my experience with the pre-K, that has to be one of the days that I look forward to the most when I'm with those teachers. And knowing the enthusiasm that they have after, like you said, they've taught all day long, and then they come and are part of this workshop after hours. but they've got as much excitement and enthusiasm as they probably had in the classroom the whole day. And just, if that's what they bring to the classroom for your kids, what a great experience and foundation that's going to give them, which is awesome.
We do. We have a fabulous pool of pre-K teachers in our Head Start centers and our private sites, and obviously in our St. Lucie Public Schools. And some of them don't get paid very much at all.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. They do. And the people who are presenters come away from our conference saying, your participants were the best we've had all year long, because they are so excited and so interactive, and they give back just as much as they get.
Yeah. I just can't tell you enough about it. You wish everybody could watch it from the outside in, just to see what that day is like, and even with the make and takes when you come and are part of those. You guys do a great job on those. Well, let's kind of switch gears a little bit, because we've got that big event that's coming up next weekend, and then we have dates coming up for Vpk registration. And another reason why I thought this was so pertinent, not just because of the dates, but we have so many people moving into this area that may not have any idea how to even begin the process of getting their kids, enrolled. So let's switch gears a little bit, Cassie, and some really important dates are coming up that we want to make sure parents are aware of for that Vpk registration. So tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. Voluntary Pre-K, or VPK, is a program in Florida that is a voluntary program that's free to all 4-year-olds who are 4 September 1st of this school year. So VPK registration actually opened up for the state January 1st of 2016.
Right. And then you have some dates coming up in February that are really key. Tell us about those.
St. Lucie Public Schools VPK program registration is going to be February 11th, 12th, 16th, 17th, and 18th.
Okay.
But actually, registration for appointments to come in and do that are available now as well.
Okay, and we're going to kind of talk about the process of what that actually looks like. She's going to walk us through this here in just a minute. A lot of parents may not be aware that there are so many options for VPK besides just St. Lucie Public Schools. Can you kind of tell us a little bit more about that as well?
Correct. VPK is in the school year, it's a 540-hour program. And it's offered in a variety of models. In private providers, it's typically a 3-hour-a-day program that's free for all 4-year-olds. And beyond that, parents can pay for wraparound care and have a full day. It's also available at Head Start as a full-day program. That's made possible through a combination of Head Start and VPK funds, and there is a process to qualify, being that it is the free full day. As well as St. Lucie Public Schools has some VPK programs, VPK Title I programs in some of our public schools, which is a full-day program made possible through VPK and Title I. So that also has a process that we have to follow when we're assigning children to seats.
Okay, and some people may not be aware of what Title I actually is, and that's a federal grant that we actually are awarded from year to year. Did I say that right? On a yearly basis. I guess that's the way to connect that. We're going to have you kind of walk us through what this looks like. So if I was a parent getting ready to, or a guardian, because we know, every situation is different. If I was getting ready to register my child for VPK, what this would look like if I go online, because they first have to set up an account, correct? And then actually register and make an appointment, and then it kind of goes to the next step. Correct? All right.
Correct.
Making sure I've got this. Okay. So Cassie's going to walk us through what this looks like. What we'll actually do is go right to the St. Lucie Public Schools website, which if you Google it, you can actually just put SLCSB, which is St. Lucie School Board. That's what that acronym is, and that'll take you to the St. Lucie Public School website. So let's walk you right through this. So what you'll do is come to the home page, and then Cassie, take us from here.
Okay, if you scroll down to the bottom middle of the page under announcements, you'll see voluntary pre-kindergarten registration starts in January. If you select that, it will bring you to our pre-K page. At the top right of our pre-K page, you'll see registration. It's not really the very top, but the top of the page.
Okay.
And there you'll see steps to register in English, Spanish, or Creole. You can click on your preferred language, and it will open our flyer.
Okay.
This flyer is also available at the front desk of the school board office, as well as the Early Learning Coalition.
So if somebody wouldn't have access to online, they still have they can go through the
They could. And
district office.
anyone who doesn't, you do need access to the internet, and you do need to create an email in order to do this process. But if parents don't have access to the internet, the Early Learning Coalition has like 3 or 4 computers set up with scanners where they can sit and complete the process.
Great.
So the first page of our flyer just tells you a little bit about our program. And it's a full-day program in St. Lucie Public Schools. We have certified teachers, transportation, breakfast, and lunch are available, but there are some restrictions that may apply.
All right. And I also noticed down here at the bottom of the first page are the contact numbers for you and Karen, so that's always good. So we want to make sure we mention that.
Yep. And it's important to know that we do not have VPK, the Title I VPK program in all of our schools. So on the front page of that flyer, they'll be able to see where it's at.
Where it's located. Okay. All right.
Okay. So then when you get to the second page, or if you're picking up a hard copy of the flyer, it's the back of the flyer, you'll see step 1. Now, step 1 is what any parent would need to follow to get their eligibility certificate for VPK for their child. That certificate is needed to register for a VPK program at a private provider, Head Start, or with the public schools. So the link that you see there, the familyservices.Florida Early Learning, the parents can type that in, or if they're online, just click on it. And that will bring them to the Florida Early Learning website, the family portal. And if they, at the top, if they need to change the language, if they speak a language other than English, they can change it to any language they want.
Right here.
Just select the language that they would want, and then everything they see would be in a different language.
Very nice.
Then they'll scroll down, and under VPK, you'll see Apply for Voluntary Pre-Kindergarten. If they've done this before, if they already have a child in VPK, then they could just go to sign in here because they already have an account.
Okay.
So
Good.
when they click on that, a little message pops up, and since we're not in Lake or Manatee, we just push continue. And then we go down. And you just kind of follow through. So here, when you get here, if you already have an account, you can just use your info, your email address that you have to have, and your password. But if you don't have an account yet, you would need to, if you're a new user, register for an account. Once you register for an account, you'll get an email with a validation link where you have to go in and validate your account and then log in.
Okay.
So once they log into this site, which we're not actually going to log in,
Right.
but once they do, they'll complete an application for their child, and they will have to upload a scanned picture, or a picture if they take it on their phone, of their child's birth certificate and a proof of address. Once they do that, they just want to keep checking back to their email. The Early Learning Coalition oversees this site, so if they had any questions about it, they could call them at 772-595-6424. But once they just keep checking back to their email to see if there is something that they need to go back in and fix on the application, or they'll get an email that says it was approved, and that's when they can log back in and print their eligibility certificate that they'll need to register at any provider for VPK.
Okay.
So once they do that, if they're wanting to go to private or Head Start, then they would take that certificate and go to the provider. But if they want to register for the public school, St. Lucie Public Schools program, they'll need to make an appointment. So if we go back to our flyer,
Okay.
you'll see step 2.
Okay, so if we go back down to the Voluntary Pre-K, and then go back to the flyer. Right here.
And then the second page.
All right.
So you'll see step 2 on the second page. In step 2, you'll see another link. It says Fly Reply. If you click on that, and you don't have to actually click on it.
All right.
This way we have the flyer. When they click on that, it will bring them to a page where they'll register for an appointment to come in on February 11th, 12th, 16th, 17th, or 18th. What they'll have to do there is they'll have to put in their the information that's requested. But ultimately, they'll have to look for an appointment that's available. I believe our first 2 days, the 11th and 12th, are currently full. So they'll have to scroll down the page until they see to the far right, you see like 0 of 6 available. That means there's no appointments for that time. But if you see 1 of 6 or 2 of 6, that's a time that you could register for. Just register for 1, and within 24 hours, they'll get an email confirmation. Please don't register for more than 1. Like thinking that you didn't do it, you could always call us and check to see if it went through.
Right.
And then after that, it's just making sure you write down that appointment and making sure you attend it. And in step 3, you'll see what you'll need to bring to your appointment. And Karen will talk to you a little more about that.
That sounds great. Very great information, and very in-depth and easy to follow, which is great. So step by step. And I didn't realize we had it in all 3 languages, so that's great as well. So Karen, I know Cassie mentioned that there are some specific things that people need to make sure that they bring with them. Tell us about that.
It'll make their appointment so much easier if they bring the documentation they need, and it's all listed in step 3 of the flyer that we were just looking at. But the one thing they need to remember to bring is their child. Because during the process of the registration, when they're making out the application paperwork, their child will be given a pre-academic screener. So it's just a really quick screener, just helps us know where your child is on a scale, so that when we're placing children in seats, we can identify the children that would most benefit from a full-day program. So that's really important that they bring the child so they don't have to make another trip.
Okay.
And then I'm not going to read all the things they need to bring, but just make sure you look at the flyer. It's also listed on the very top of the appointment registration. On the top of that page also has all the documentation you need to bring. So there's several places you can see it. You can also call us if you're not sure, and we're more than happy to kind of walk you through what you need to bring.
Which is great, and I hear your conversations, a lot in the afternoon when we're all in the office together, and just giving that in depth. This is kind of a nervous time for a lot of people because this may be their first going to school. So, and you guys are just so great and patient, and encouraging when you're having conversations with them, which is great. It's nice too because everything is right there in one spot. You don't have to go searching for multiple places. So, and knowing that the Early Learning Coalition is available also to support that process as well is just a great connection that we have through the public school. We've only got about a minute left, so I just want to, is there anything else that you would share? Mary, maybe just give us some closing remarks, anything that we didn't maybe cover today?
Boy, these two would probably be able to tell you more than what they talk to the parents. I think you really stated something that was really important, though, is parents are probably just as stressed out, probably more stressed out, because kids are really excited to be coming, and when they come to get the screeners, they're going, some of them bring their backpack. When does school start? When do I get to stay? And you're like, well, you have a few more months to wait. But yeah, the parents, just if you're not sure, if you have any questions, call, because that really does help. It is set up beautifully on our website, but to have that personal support too is I know it's really reassuring to parents.
Yeah. So it's great, and thanks for all you do. You 3 are amazing, and it's just a privilege to work with you every day, and a privilege for your teachers to work with you as well. So thanks for all you do. And we want to thank you for joining us today on our latest notebook. We look forward to seeing you again the next time, and hope that this has given you great information that's going to make this process so much easier for anyone who is looking for a pre-K student for voluntary pre-K. So have a great week. We'll see you soon.